Okay, today we are going to learn a new character. Today we're going to learn this one. This character means bad. First though, let's find out how we actually read the character. There's a couple of ways you can read it. So the first one, we want to look at the onyomi, right? I always write my onyomi, and we want to have the on and the kunyomi. So the onyomi for this is aku. Oops. And onyomi is always written in katakana because they're borrowed sounds from China. And then the other way you can read it, and this way isn't actually read all that much, it's actually read all. So that's another way that it can be read, but it's not used all that much. And the kunyomi is warui. And then i. So the i is always going to be the separate part. To help with that, actually, let's put that in another color. So i is always going to be separate. The waru is what is going to be part of the actual kanji when you write it or read it. I will always come separately and never be included in the actual character. So we've got aku and warui. So first of all, what does it mean? I just quickly mentioned it. It means bad. That's what it means. Bad, evil. Not good. Doesn't have a good meaning to this character. What about in Japanese? What does it mean actually in Japanese? And that's one of the cool things about kanji is it's better if you can actually learn the meanings of kanji in Japanese rather than just in English. It's good to know what it means in English, but it's so much better also if you can learn what it means in Japanese. And this one, it actually means tarashikunai or yokunai. So we've got tarashikunai or it's yokunai. So that's what it means in Japanese. Super simple. Tarashikunai koto ne. De, warui koto wa tarashikunai koto. So bad things, they're not good things. Easy. But how are we going to learn this? Let's pull this character apart so we can learn it and have a bit of fun with it. I'm going to create a new layer here so that we can start and have some fun. Let's go for a new color. So first of all, this looks kind of complicated. Let's take the easy parts and let's find out what the actual bushu is. The bushu is the main radical for this kanji, and it is heart or kokoro. So it means heart. Okay, I hope this starts to make some sense here. So we've got warui koto. Obviously, someone who has a bad heart, they must be evil or bad, right? Let's add some more. How this character here, let's go red. Let's go red. So let's look at this one now. This one looks really complicated and kind of confusing, but if we actually pull it apart a little bit, it's actually a little bit easier. So let's have a quick look. Let's zoom in and I'll draw you a quick picture. This will help make things a lot more simple and easy to understand. So imagine when you're building, you need a foundation. Without a foundation, you can't build a house, right? Or a building or anything. So we've got a foundation. And this is actually the shape. This is where the kanji originated from. So it originated from a foundation and the shape. Now that shape then moved into this shape. Okay, so that meant foundation. And this actual character, it stands for a couple of things. It stands for the Asia no A, so the A for Asia, or it also stands for second or coming next. And I think that's the easiest one to remember. You can remember it as the A for Asia, but coming second or next actually makes it a little bit easier when it comes to remembering this character. And I'll explain why. So this character, let's keep morphing it. So it morphed into another character before we got the current one. And this was the one that was used in China more. So we've got this A, so it turned into this, and then that turned into the current one here, right? So that's the current A that we've got. So that's how it's morphed. And if you want to imagine this, let's build our quick house, shall we? Let's go brown. Let's build a quick building. So imagine you've got this person who's out there. They're like, okay, we want to build a house, a nice, beautiful house on this foundation. And the guy's out there. He's digging the foundation. He's super excited. And the owner comes out. He's like, what are you doing? Like, why would I want a foundation that looks like a cross? How stupid could you be? And the guy who's digging, he's like, what do you mean? This is what you wanted. You told me this is what you want for the house, right? And he gets really angry and annoyed. And that's when he starts to do something. This is a word that you can learn. He starts to Wadukuchi. He starts to say all these bad things. So we've got Wadukuchi, bad mouthing. So he's bad-mouthing about the owner of this house because he's just making a mess of the design he originally had. The guy had to come and dig this foundation, and now he's super unhappy. And so now he has a bad heart. He's annoyed. He's angry, and he starts bad-mouthing, and it just gets worse and worse. And then that turns into bad, right? And you've just got this super grumpy, unhappy guy. He's just not happy at all. Okay. He'd been out there working all day. Remember, he had to hand dig this. He is not happy. He is just not happy. So we get warui. Okay. So how are we going to actually remember these words? I always like to make up a sentence to help do this. And a fun sentence we can do is, let's try it out. Okay, all right, let's try our sentence. Let's go blue for our sentence. So one day there was a boy, and this is a bad boy, and he was actually ruining some roses. And to help you say these words, okay, so a boy was what? And we've got the what here, right? Was ruining. We've got ru, wa, ru, and then I. Was ruining some roses by throwing a hard block of coon cheese. Now coon cheese, I don't know if you have this coon cheese where you are. It's a cheese that we had in Australia, but this is how I remember it because it helps. If it doesn't work for you, come up with another sound that might work. So he's throwing coon cheese at the boy. So we've got a block of coon cheese, and we've got a. So you've got the a sound here, a, and then ku. So we've got coon cheese, that is the ku. So a coon cheese. And you've got your boy, he's super not nice. He's throwing. He's getting annoyed. Not annoyed, he's just a naughty boy. He's there throwing, blocks of cheese. He's holding on to his block of cheese here. And he's throwing this one at the poor roses. They're not happy because they're cheese, right? We've got our poor roses here. Poor roses here. Not happy because they're getting cheese thrown at them. So, that's how you got it. Naughty boy, he's ruining the roses by throwing coon cheese at them. And in Japanese, it's always good to have a Japanese sentence as you learn. You don't just want to be learning in English. So let's add our Japanese sentence in. Let's go for a deeper green just to separate the colors. And to change it, I'm going to have a little bit of a different sentence. And the sentence we're going to have is 善悪の選択の時にできれば悪い選択をしないで良いことを選びましょう。Here we go. We've got zen and then aku. And the great thing is when you write a sentence in Japanese, it means you actually get to use your vocabulary more. And the more you build up on your vocabulary, the better you're going to get at Japanese. Now you might be thinking, hey, your Japanese isn't perfect. Well, no, it's not, because you know what? People living in Japan don't actually have perfect Japanese. Okay. 善悪の選択の時にできればね。できれば Here we go. We're using our words now. Whoa, that's wrong. 悪い is always separate, remember. 悪い選択をしないで Don't do it. 良いことを and then use it 選択 from 選択 you actually take the word 選ぶ so it means to choose as well. 選びましょう. Okay, choose what's good. You don't want to choose the bad. Choose what is good. And last but not least, we've got to learn a couple of words. It's always good to learn some extra words, new words that you can add to your vocabulary so that you're continually building your vocabulary. Let's go bigger for these just to make it here. So 2 words, let's learn Wadukuchi, which we already covered. This is a great one to learn. So Wadukuchi. Whoa, that is way too big. Wadu, and then guchi, waru, and guchi. This one it changes. You get the chonchon instead, not just kuchi, waruguchi, which is bad mouth. And then let's learn another one, akui. So aku, we're using it's the same words, but this time we're using akui. And I is feelings, etc. Akui, which is actually evil intention, or and you've also got ill-willed. Okay, so there we have it. So you've got aku or warui. Now let's quickly add one more really quick, just so I can quickly go through explain it. So you've got our character, which is warui. There's 2 ways you can read it. You've got aku, warui, or it's not used very much. It stands for the foundation, or coming second is what it came from the foundation, but it actually means to come second. It can also be the used in Asia. Add a heart to that and you get a bad-willed, evil, or tadashiku nai koto ne, because you have a bad heart. Because the poor guy, he came second, he wasn't happy, he started to mouth the guy who created wanting to do the foundation work, and that all led to him not being happy, and he's running around throwing kunchis at the guys. Let's create the story bigger. He's throwing kunchis. He was running around, ruining the guy's roses by throwing kunchis at them, destroying them. And the sentence we learn in Japanese is, here, is 善悪の選択の時にできれば悪い選択をしないで良いことを選びましょう. So choose what's good. When you have to make a choice between good and bad, try and choose what's good. And then over here we've got our 2 words that we're going to learn. So we've got waruguchi and akui, bad mouth. And that is the character waru or aku. Warui or aku. Okay, if any of this doesn't work for you, pull it apart and have a go yourself. The most important thing about learning kanji is to have fun and to actually enjoy yourself. Kanji is like a game. Think of it like a game and you'll actually have so much fun learning it.